Ladies and gentlemen, hey, how you doing? You know who I am? You should very well know who I am. You know who this guy is? We are the posse in effect, if you will. Taking that to you right now at Media One, doing the show tonight. Yes. Kevin Kravitz, how are you doing tonight?
How you doing, Mr. Gorgeous George?
Yes.
I've only seen this the first time in months I've seen him. We've been taking a vacation from each other.
Exactly. Basically, this man has had the opportunity to tour, take a trip to Ireland.
I went to Ireland, went to England. I went to the World's Fair in Lisbon, Portugal. I marched in the Love Parade in Berlin, Germany. If any place needed a love parade, it was Berlin, Germany. But I was in Vienna. Oh, everything was great. Prague, south of France, Spain.
I tell you what, those foreign girls are into the American men, aren't they? I tell you what, aren't they?
I hope so.
They're into the American men. When you go there, they're all over you. I tell you what, hey,
all looking for
tonight,
a green card.
Yeah, tonight, that's pretty much the way it usually is. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, it is the Media One open forum, and we are talking about two topics, which we'll get into momentarily. We're going to hold off on calls for about at least 10 minutes because we're going to talk about some things, kind of lay out the groundwork here, and then go ahead and take the calls and momentarily. This show, we've been doing this show, we are on later hours now. We're on at 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning due to people calling up here and making complaints about, we've been through this over and over again, and you really don't see my show on as much as you usually do in the past or have done in the past. This show itself pretty much is a live call-in show where you, the fans or the haters or whatever you want to call yourselves, can talk to me, and we can talk to you with, with a little bit of respect. Now, once again, the same guidelines stand if you get vulgar, if you get over excessive, if you talk and you get a little bit out of the range where we don't want to talk to you anymore, then you will be cut off. But it is open forum tonight. We're talking about the President Clinton confession that he made about a week ago, which I've got my say on this. I'm still talking about this. I'm still pro-Clinton all the way, and we're going to get into that in a little bit. But before we get into that, before we take the calls, I just want to talk about the show itself. Like I said, the show is on now at 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning. They have limited me from being aired during the day due to people calling up there, voicing their opinion. But I tell you what, we're still on, and letting you all know, I'm not on the listings, but I'm not on the listings in the channel guides, but 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock, look at your TV set, and pretty much you'll see us on, guaranteed at least twice in a month.
The party hour.
I tell you what. Kevin, I'm glad to see you back in focus. I'm glad to see you back here in Richmond. I know you had fun. I knew you needed the trip out. I'm ready to go to the beach myself in a week for Labor Day and do that.
Hope Bonnie doesn't get in your way.
I tell you what, but Bonnie, she might not get in my way, but still. Me and Bonnie will get down, and groove. All right, let's get right into it. August the 17th was a day that stood out because our president admitted to having sex with Monica Lewinsky. Now, before we get into
inappropriate relationship is the way he phrased it.
Now, he did not admit.
I told a guy to inappropriate relationship yourself.
Okay.
I was mad at him.
Bottom line is, this whole thing, morally, if you want to talk about the moral aspect of this whole thing, yes, the president made a mistake, okay? And people are saying, well, why didn't he come out 7 months ago or 8 months ago to come out and say this? I, myself, believe in privacy. Now, this man made a mistake. It was a misplay. It was a plunder on his part for doing this. It was something that I'm sure that he has a personal hell and didn't want the public to know. And really and truly, the public did not need to know. Now, we live in a society where the negatives are always brought out over the positives. A lot of people in this society are negative, okay? We are not perfect. We're human.
The spoilers.
But we have done things in the past. Everybody has done something they've regretted. Everybody has done something in their past that they regret. This goes to show we're sinners. We're not perfect. Let's take it from this standpoint right here. A middle-aged man in his 40s, maybe not having a lot of sexual relations with his wife. Maybe there is a strain. There are a lot of married people out there that have cheated on their wives or cheated on their husbands. It's not right. It's not right. It's not, you know, it's not morally right and all that. But it does not disdain the person. The person who has the 9-to-5 job, the person who is a coach, a person who's a teacher, a doctor, or a nurse, they have a right to their private lives, okay? Public officials, they run this country. Governors, lawyers, attorneys, judges, they have a right to their private life. They do a job, they do it well, they should be commended for it, and then what they do behind the counter, in their own personal time, is their own business. We seem to jump the gun. We seem to judge people, and we take it from a standpoint where people, you know, if we made a mistake, you know, oh my gosh, you made a mistake, you know, and over-magnified. Let's get into the president now. I was a firm believer that he was telling the truth. I was a firm believer he was telling the truth. And, you know, but I said, so what if he wasn't? This issue of him lying under oath shouldn't have even gotten to be an issue. This issue about our president lying under oath should not have even been an issue because, or not even be a perjury issue because it was not a criminal act. The guy did not embezzle from this company, from this country. This guy did not do dealings like with the Iran-Contra affair like Ollie North did with Reagan. Okay, this president has been up and up. And you see, this, like I've said all along, has been a political conspiracy, a political attack that Kenneth Starr has brewed up a right-wing agenda.
He's an old washerwoman.
Exactly. Now, I happened to call up our ex-governor, Douglas Wilder, on WRVA. I called up his show last week when this whole thing was intact, and he was going to town just digging, making digs at the president. And here this man is allegedly supposed to be on this side of the fence, so to speak, and making attacks on our president, Governor Wilder. Well, Governor, let me ask you something. You know, who have you slept with? Okay, let's take it from this standpoint. Governor, listen, what mistresses have you had? Who have you slept with? Every president in history, whether it be from Abraham Lincoln all the way down to John Fitzgerald Kennedy, there has been a lot of plunders under the covers. A lot of presidents have had mistresses.
Or Truman did.
Exactly. A lot of them had.
Truman did.
JFK with Marilyn Monroe. You know, whatever. I mean, but you see, it was not magnified. It was not over magnified. Of course, Ronald Reagan and George Bush. I mean, come on. I mean, what Reagan did, it was the Amnesia Act. Well, I don't remember. Well, tell us about the Iran-Contra affair, President Reagan. Well, I just don't remember. I was taking care of Bonzo. You know, I mean, it gets down to a degree. And of course, you know, there was even rumors that George Bush had an extramarital affair. But you see, it was not over magnified. It was not brought to be an issue because a lot of these political leaders in the past have had extramarital affairs. Or
well, but wait a minute. Having extramarital affairs, just because they had them doesn't make them right, though. I mean, not all of them had. From what I understand, Truman didn't have any girlfriends. Well, and I'm not so sure about JFK and Marilyn, even though a lot of people like to talk about these things. Definitely. There's no proof that anything like that happened.
It was under you know, it was under the covers, but yes.
You could always start rumors, though.
There was, but there was, you know, a thing with Marilyn Monroe and John Fitzgerald Kennedy. But that's the issue. The point I'm trying to make is there are a lot of presidents that we've had that have had extramarital affairs, that have had mistresses. Andrew Jackson, prime example, back in the 7th president of the United States had a mistress. Yeah. Okay, you know.
Jefferson.
Yeah, and of course, you know, back when you know, in the Civil War, I mean, the presidents and their owned the slaves and whatnot had sex with the slaves.
That would be Jefferson.
Well, Jefferson, or I mean, you know, these Confederate.
Well, that's the story.
These Confederate
We're not sure.
people, and back in the Civil War, probably had sex with the slaves. What it boils down to is this: let's get off this trip. Now, this man made a mistake. This man made a mistake that he suffered. But like he said to the people Monday at 10 o'clock in the evening, a 4-minute tape, he said he regrets it, and he said, but even the president has a right to privacy. Even the president has a right to his own privacy between what he does with his family, because who he has to answer to is his wife and his God. His wife and his God, and that is the only people he has to answer to. Getting back, go ahead.
Yeah, well, it's important to note that adultery, by its very nature, is a Chinese box of lies, and thus, if anybody tells him if he's having an affair, it isn't until he's. And actually, I'm not sure he actually lied under oath, because he may have lied, you know, on
No, he didn't. I'll tell you why.
In press conferences and all. And to the people, as a lot of people are making a big deal. But when it came down to the grand jury, he did admit, you know, that inappropriate relationship.
Inappropriate, but now let me get to this right now. He did not say sexual affair, and there is a difference, ladies and gentlemen. There is a difference. Inappropriate affair, meaning maybe kissing, maybe whatever, but never was there said, and he did not lie, because he did not say under oath sexual relations. He did not say that whatsoever. There was nothing said about sexual relations. He did not say, you know, to Kenneth Starr, that SOB, that he had a sexual relationship with Monica Lewinsky. Now, she is pretty much a character by herself.
Yeah.
She has a history, mind you now, what she did back in school, back in college. Yeah. She had a history of having affairs in the past. And you see, this is
my kind of woman.
Yeah, she's had a history. She's a little plump. She's a little overweight.
I think she's nice looking girl.
She's cute, but she's very shy, very introverted, and obviously her self-esteem was not that great. And so she had a relations with her teacher, with her ex-teacher. And then finally, when the guy came out and said, look, we've got to end this, she came out and said to her teacher, she said, if you do, I'm going to tell your wife. But let's take it from this also, too. Linda Tripp, this lady should have been put behind bars for what she did. This lady, for what she did, she illegally taped a conversation. And when you tape a conversation without the other person knowing about it, I don't care, as far as what I know of, that is illegal. And to me, that was malicious, and it was politically founded because, oh my God, you know, she woman, Linda Tripp, she had to go to the Pentagon, and she didn't like that. And she was crying sour grapes.
I'm not sure it's illegal. I think if only one person is, you can't have a third party tape them both and not know it.
Yes, it's legal.
But if one person is in on it, it is legal. You can't make a comment. Nevertheless, that doesn't, in the real scheme of things, what friend does that? In order to protect their own hide. Yep. She was supposedly such a good friend.
It is illegal.
Okay.
It is that.
I get a lawyer.
So then, you know, this whole, but this whole setup has been a political founded reasoning. It's been in a political agenda by these people. What our president did was not right. But he has to live with that until the day he dies. Our president made a mistake. But I tell you what, look at what he's done for this country. Take that from the standpoint to that. And if that is the only thing he's done wrong, let me tell you what, then he should be exonerated. We are human beings. We make mistakes. We're not perfect. I have made thousands of blunders and thousands of mistakes. This man is human. Yes. He's made thousands of blunders.
Thousands?
And thousands of mistakes.
Just one 10 minutes ago.
We are trying to tell you that look at the popularity vote. This man, even after the 17th of August, has a 75% popularity backing.
I like him better now.
75% popularity vote. And you have people out there that are anti-him and say, well, he was forced to come out. He was forced to come out. Well, you know what?
Anti-what?
It has this whole thing basically about dealing with this these anti people that are anti-Clinton. Okay, yeah. They'll come out here and say basically, we know that, come out and say basically, well, he only came out because he was forced to. He made a mistake. Let's move on. If you take upon what he's done, and it's allegedly other stuff, people are going to say what he's done and done this and done that. But Kenneth Starr has been plundering and plundering. Kenneth Starr has been going to town on this man. Couldn't find a thing with Whitewater.
That's right.
Couldn't find a thing with Whitewater. Couldn't find a thing with the
Paula Jones.
Paula Jones. Couldn't find a thing with Kathleen Willey.
It all started with
Find a thing with Kathleen Willey.
Whitewater, and now it's devolved into something that happened.
Okay, and then couldn't
here.
find a thing with the alleged donations that Japan made for the Democrat Party. Well, hell, let me tell you something. That has been done before. There have been a lot of people going out there giving donations to parties. It's been done before because this has been a political lambusco. This has been a political craving to attack this man and his character and his legacy. And you know what? We need to get off this. He has admitted it, whether how he was forced or whatever. The American public did not need to know that. Did not need to know. I believed him, but I still think that the American public, we know about the phones, did not need to make him, did not need to make him, did not need to make him dig out his past. There was no way that we need to know that. I don't want to know about his sex life. This man doesn't want to know about his sex life.
No, I do.
But
I live a dull life. I do.
But but we have taken upon. I mean, we have come to a point where this enough is enough. And Janet Reno needs to step in there and say enough.
Yeah.
And she's the only one that can, and she needs to do so.
I used to joke that the news, I was joking, remember when the news was really boring and now it's like a soap opera every night. Nevertheless, even if it's, just in a nutshell, just to paraphrase George, I feel, that what he did is wrong and all that stuff. But it makes no difference on his presidency. It makes no difference on anybody's presidency, on anybody's job if they're doing a good job.
Before we take any calls, it is not a criminal offense. He did not embezzle. He did not rape the woman. He did not sodomize the woman. He did not... what it is a inappropriate affair, and he did not say he had a sexual relations. He did not say he had a sexual relations with a woman. He said it was inappropriate, pretty much, and that was the extent of it. Okay, let's get the calls.
Line one.
Line whatever. Let's talk. And if you cop an attitude tonight, if you have an attitude with us, we're going to cut you off.
Yes.
You have a right to talk. Every person has a right to their opinion.
Yes.
But we'll cut you off if you get vocal.
Everyone has a right to his opinion.
Exactly. Go ahead.
How y'all doing?
How you doing?
Howdy.
I believe in what you're saying.
Great.
And if he had did, well, he'd admit to what he had done. And I had voted for him. But like you said, he had to deal with that with his family.
Exactly.
And up above.
Exactly.
And if he did do all that, why she wait till he became president before she put all that up?
Right.
Is she doing that because of the money? Does she want to make money?
You have to wonder. You have to wonder. Mm-hmm. I cannot listen, and I really shouldn't say this, I cannot listen to talk radio in this town. Because what they do, they air Rush Limbaugh, they air G. Gordon Liddy, and they got these people on local radio stations, which I'm not going to name their names, that all they know how to do, everything is anti-Clinton. Attack the man, anti-Clinton this, anti-Clinton that. Oh, Clinton has done this wrong. I mean, you turn on the news, or you turn on the radio in this local town of Richmond, Virginia, that's all you hear is a bunch of negative talk. Our Governor Wilder was bashing the man. Ex-Governor Douglas Lawrence Wilder was bashing this man. I called up there and I set him straight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I don't think it's nobody's business. I don't think the public should know about it.
Pardon me?
I said I don't think the public should know about it.
Exactly. I don't care who he sleeps with. I don't care who he, has an affair with. That is his own business.
Yeah.
We have all made mistakes. I mean, I think the guy is personable. I think the guy has a high amount of personality and charisma, and probably the most personable president we've had in this country. And yet we're still on this trip. All pun taken on Lynn trip, but on this trip that this man's character and he didn't inhale or whatever, let's take it upon the popularity, 75% the week of August 17th. Let's take it upon what this man's done for this country, and let's move on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling.
Any more calls?
We have one more.
All right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, how you doing?
What's up?
My name's Scott Elms, and I just wanted to talk a little bit. It sounds like you're trying to cover up for Mr. Clinton.
How do you think I'm trying to do that?
Well, I mean, you're talking about if he breaks the law, that's his business.
Okay, let me ask you a question. He has not broken the law. Now, you're going to tell me he has broken the law because he perjured himself.
Well,
This-
no, adultery is illegal, no matter what state you're in.
No.
It's not. It's not illegal.
No,
It's not.
you
No,
are-
you can't go to jail for adultery.
You are dead wrong, caller.
And his little
It's
scandal
not-
with his
it's not-
real estate
it's-
is
in
another
Virginia-
story.
In
You know,
Virginia,
he's
it's
got
ille-
stories
excuse
behind
me,
him, and
excuse
you
me,
just want
excuse
to
me,
cover
excuse-
for him.
excuse me. Let me talk. Let me talk. Let me talk in a second. In Virginia, I believe it's illegal, but in majority of the states, it's not illegal.
So Washington is not illegal.
Okay.
So the president can have adultery.
Let me ask you.
You know,
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
he can have adultery and he can have all these scandals. You know, the president shouldn't. What is he above the law?
What scandals are we talking about?
Let's talk about the Whitewater scandal.
Is it proven?
Not yet.
There you go. Go ahead.
It was also before he was president.
He also has a lot of cover-ups and he has a lot of loopholes. You know, he's the president.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question. Has it yet been proven? No? Yes? No? Perhaps?
You sound like I must be one of them 25%. You know,
Well, you
say
must be.
75%
You must be.
are backing him. You know, but there's 25% that want to wait till everything comes out and wants to hear all.
Let me ask you a question, caller. Have you ever done something personal that you've regretted?
Excuse me?
Have you ever done anything personal that you per se have regretted?
Of course. But I've paid the penalty.
Okay.
Hey, anytime I break the law and I'm caught, I pay the penalty.
Okay.
If
I
I
do
get a
not
speeding
think.
ticket, I have to pay the ticket, right?
All right. Let me ask you a question. And I'm not saying this or or jumping the gun, but let's per se, perhaps. I mean, I'm not sure if you're married, single.
No, I'm married and I have a child.
Okay.
And adultery is wrong no matter where you are.
Adultery.
It's actually worse than. Forget about the law. Adultery is probably the worst thing in the world.
Right.
And just because, even if you're right, just because
care whether it's the
it's legal.
president.
Well, let me say something to you here. Okay, he did not say that he had sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky. He said he had an inappropriate affair. To me, that does not mean sexual
I
relations.
think she was an eyewitness.
She was
That
there.
is, look, the president did not say, and that's why he did not perjure himself. He did not
I
say.
guess he has a good lawyer, and if
He
you
did
get a
not
good
say
lawyer,
that
you
he-
can get
okay.
out of pretty much
Wait a
anything.
second. You talk. Let me talk.
Okay.
He did not say that he had a sexual relationship with Monica Lewinsky. She had an obsession with older men. Period.
That sounds like the thing you was talking about Reagan. You know what I mean? Hey, Reagan can say anything he wants when he's got people backing him up, right?
Reagan. This whole thing with Reagan.
I like
was-
Reagan. You know what I mean? Nothing against Reagan.
This whole thing with Reagan basically was it was not prolonged as much as this has.
Hey, I just believe he couldn't read all the paperwork. You know what I mean?
Well, Reagan kind of remembered what he wanted to remember. He was a good president, but and I don't have
He delegated authority. He let other people.
exactly. Let
do
other
his-
people do
But
his
if you look
best.
into
their job.
anybody's background, there's something wrong with them. You know what I mean? I don't care if
Everybody
it's you, the
has
other guy
skeletons.
beside you, or anybody.
Everybody has skeletons in their closet.
That's right. But if they break the law, they should pay the price.
Well, that's true to a certain degree, but the president has not broken the law, as far as I'm concerned. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your call.
Thanks for your call.
All right, we do appreciate it. Any more calls? Any more
Yeah,
calls?
here we go. Howdy.
Talk to us.
Hello?
Howdy.
Talk to us. You're on the air.
Virginia.
You're who?
I voted for, President Clinton, pardon me.
You voted for President Clinton. Okay. Both terms?
410, I'm gonna put you on hold, okay?
Okay, I can barely hear you, ma'am.
That is right thing.
Tell you what I want you to do is this. I want you to speak up to the phone. Okay? Can you hear me? Raise the volume down on your TV set.
Okay, go ahead.
Put your mouth to the phone and speak up. And go ahead.
Each time that I see William Bennett on television,
I can't say what you're saying.
you can see,
Yeah. I can hear.
can you hear me?
I
Yes.
can barely hear you, but- yeah, go ahead.
You heard William Bennett on television,
Go ahead.
and what did he say?
He definitely has a vendetta against Bill Clinton.
Okay.
Oh yes, he's he used to be the Secretary of Education, and he's he's a pretty bright guy. He tells people, he's sort of like a moralist. He gives right and wrong answers, and I guess he's very disgusted with Clinton. What detail did he say that you'd like to bring up, Matt?
Well, he's already judged him.
Yeah, exactly. You see,
Well-
for the most part, everybody has prejudged him. And like I said before, this has been at the very beginning, before he got his first term in '92, everybody was prejudging him because a lot of these right-wing people were bitter. A lot of these right-wing people were just absolutely bitter about this young, vibrant president, baby boomer, coming into office, and they couldn't stomach it. They had to bring up the dirt. Any kind of dirt they could bring up, they had to bring up the dirt about this president who's done nothing but good things for this country.
He's also the typical baby boomer that went through all the troubles that the Vietnam and everything, Vietnam War, the hippies, the pot and all that stuff. They actually had their first crack at introducing a baby boomer to major presidential politics with Dan Quayle, who was the atypical of that time. Kind of a stiff upper lip type of guy.
Dan Quayle was just absolutely stupid.
Well, well, you see, you needed, I think, Dan Quayle, I guess, to.
He was absolutely.
He was the one they had to push ahead.
Dan Quayle was absolutely stupid. But anyway.
Yeah.
In my opinion, he's 100%.
Well, thank you, ma'am. I do appreciate it. And catch me on www.com, Gorgeous George, and write to me and let me know what's going on. All right. Thank you very much. Next call, please.
Hello, everybody.
Next call, please.
Yeah, Gorgeous George and Company.
Howdy.
Come on, what's up?
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. How you doing?
Yes, I'd like to discuss the topic tonight about Clinton.
Go right ahead.
I've been on the internet recently, and the fellow that broke the story was Drudge.
Oh,
He
yeah.
now has a Sunday show on the Fox network.
Okay.
And if you pull that up on there, he explains what he knows, and it was really no contact, supposedly, according to him. It was, this is TV, so I'm going to say it was self-satisfaction between themselves. And it's on there. People can go. It's under the Drudge Report on the internet, and they can read it for themselves. And I honestly believe that in the 90s, Clinton represents the average man. The average man would go out and have an affair like this. And I think he represents the people more than he realizes.
Number
And
one.
that's just my opinion on things tonight.
Well, okay.
The number one aphrodisiac is power. That's what Henry Kissinger said. And I guess he felt bad that he got so far to be president, and he thought he should get some girlfriends out of it as well.
I mean, let me just say this, okay? Let's not talk about statistics. Let's not talk about this, that, and the other. The bottom line is, whether it be this, whether we decked somebody, hit somebody and regretted it, whether we lose our temper. I've lost my temper on numerous occasions. Even on TV, I've lost my temper. But but we have done things. We have done things that we have regretted. I think. Thank you. We have done things that we have regretted, and we need to now. I hear ringing going on. We need to kind of get off this trip. And all pun taken about he, she, Linda Tripp. I'm tired of talking about it, but it just kind of makes me kind of disgusted and nauseated when these people in the Richmond market on RVA and they talk about Rush Limbaugh and G. Gordon Liddy. To me, they have a sports channel, RNL, WRNL. It's a sports channel. They should not be running that crap with G. Gordon Liddy because the guy is nauseous. The guy is all you hear from all the anti-Clinton people is constant attacks on Clinton. If it was me up there, I made a mistake. Okay, I made a mistake. I probably would have done the same thing. And if I was forced to come out, I would come out. But the bottom line is, he had said it verbatim. What he does, and he is the president of the United States, and even the president of the United States has a right to privacy.
A gentleman.
Bottom line.
A gentleman always keeps these stories to himself, and he
We
had to
have a
force
right
his
to
hand.
privacy. And you see, he has his own hell because, like I said, he loves his wife. Okay, he loves his wife and his daughter. But you see, the love between that family withheld all this because she didn't leave him. And then people out there have their own little, things saying, well, she wants the power and she wants that and she's not going to leave him, and after they leave or get out of office, then she'll leave him. Baloney. Okay?
No, that could happen. I mean, we don't know. That's in the future.
Well, it's in the future, but I don't buy it because, granted, this has happened. This has been laid out. The cards have been laid out on the table. But she loves her husband. Bottom line, she's stuck with him, and devotion and love in the family is what it boils down to. It enrages me. Before we take another call, it enrages me when everybody has a right to their opinion, but it enrages me so much Because you cannot even debate these people that are so close-minded. You cannot debate these people that are close-minded, that are anti-Clinton, because a lot of these people that are anti-Clinton, you get them and you get them you catch them on something, and they'll go ahead and come right back at you and say the same thing over again after you've already told them that counter-clock what they said. You know.
Also, when you read the papers and all, I mean, I like to read. I'm a news junkie, and I read the papers, and I love what I read. And you know, you have to take it with a grain of salt. A lot of people say there's a liberal bias, and the liberals say something else. Matt Drudge, the guy mentioned that with his internet thing. That you really have to take with a grain of salt. He's sort of like Jack Anderson. A lot of it might be true, but he's sort of like those guys in the Star of the National Enquirer to predict the future or something. You know,
I mean,
half the time they're right.
I will make a bold statement right now. He will not be impeached. He will not be impeached, and if he gets impeached, you heard this first. You heard this first. I will willingly, if he gets impeached, I will willingly not do any more shows.
We get that in writing?
I will willingly not do any more shows if he gets impeached. It's not going to happen because this man has a popularity rating. Everybody, he's a popularity rating of 75%. 75%. The American, we know about that. The American public is not going to allow that.
And if he is impeached, I will stay on the air. I take the top of it.
Okay, all right, listen.
I don't want to leave.
I'm almost, if it was my way, I would be doing all the talking. We wouldn't be taking any phone calls.
You mean removed from office,
Yes.
Yeah, he won't be removed from office.
And you see, and then these other people are coming out and saying, well, the Republicans want him in office because then he's a wounded president. And then that would be bad. He's a wounded president, and that would be bad for Al Gore. Al Gore is a brilliant man, and Al Gore will do something in the year 2000. Okay, line whatever.
Okay.
Go ahead. Talk to us.
Hello.
Talk to us. Hello.
Howdy.
Yeah, how you doing, fellas?
What's up?
Okay, I think you guys are exactly right in reference to these allegations against Clinton. Whether or not they're true or not true is irrelevant. The fact is that people do engage in adulterous affairs, and so therefore it's really a moot question. And you're absolutely right, George. The whole question is politically motivated, and there's no question about that.
That's right.
Okay, now the whole thing. Now I got an addendum to this, and I want you guys to be as candid as possible.
Go ahead.
But there are a couple of incidents that happened with respect to Clinton's White House that concerned me greatly. The first one was Vince Foster, but more importantly, the second one, which pertains to Ron Brown. And there was conflicting information coming out of the Balkans in terms of that whole incident surrounding his death. And I'm just wondering, why hasn't Clinton mandated a official investigation in terms of what actually happened to Ron Brown? So I'm wondering if you guys have got any thoughts on that.
Okay, let me say what I mean. As far as about Ron Brown being concerned, he died in a plane crash. That's what from the extent from what I know of. That was something that was a freak incident that happened with a major thing that happened, and it was a devastation. And a plane crashed. The plane went down. I don't.
But I think, George, the thing is, it wasn't so as freak as the information would suggest. We were told here that there was inclement weather, and basically they were told to fly around it. But for some reason, the pilot opted to fly right through inclement weather, and as a result, the plane went down. But then, according to the Balkan intelligence forces, our own National Aeronautic Traffic and Safety Board, NATSB, according to their information, in fact, it wasn't inclement, and that such a warning was never given to this pilot to go around inclement weather. And now the thing is that, and also with respect to Ron Brown, that one of the things that they never revealed was that there was a bullet hole, consistent with a .45, directly at the top of his head, and nobody ever talked about that. That part was sort of covered up.
Listen, they've been talking about that for a long time. There's also stories about, like you mentioned earlier, about Vince Foster didn't commit suicide, and that Hillary Clinton masterminded either the murder or a cover-up. Let me tell you something, and I make this point to everyone who tells me that they're trying to solve both of those murders, both of those deaths, as if they're murders on Columbo. Let me tell you something. Forget about Monica Lewinsky, forget about Whitewater, forget about all that stuff. If they ever could prove or even assume that the White House had anything to do with murder in either one or both of these people, it would be the worst thing it would probably bring the country down. We'd probably have to have a constitutional convention and change our whole way of life.
But see, that's in fact what is happening. In order to circumvent any type of discussion, any type of discourse around these mysterious deaths,
Well, you know, like I said,
Let me
there are
finish.
mysterious
Let me just
deaths,
finish.
but I mean, but one has to understand that it's totally ludicrous to even consider that the White House had anything to do with it.
Well,
I understand what you're saying about upon
It's very upsetting that they died.
Upon the climate,
Yeah.
I mean, it was a devastating thing, and plane crashes do happen, but. I don't. I mean, you have to wonder. I mean, come on, the White House. I don't. I mean, the White House didn't have anything to do with that. And as far as Foster is concerned, he committed his own. I mean, he took his own life.
Yeah, it's been.
Okay, well, George, let me
even
tell you-
Kenneth Farr says. Kenneth
Let me finish real
Farr
quickly.
says he's.
Let me finish real quickly. Okay, now I'm not one who succumbed to conspiracy theories. I mean, I only raise stuff when there's legitimate information that causes one to wonder. Now, what is interesting is that of those business folks who accompanied Ron Brown on his trip, you know, to the Balkans, at the moment that he embarked to leave to return home,
Right.
all right. Strange enough, of that group, 11 of those corporate CEO officials, I mean, multinational officials, 11 of them opted not to join him. Instead, what they told him was, "No, you go ahead. We'll take another flight."
Right.
Now, just in terms of government protocol, you don't do that when you accompany a government official. You don't abandon them and say, "Okay, well, you go ahead and you go on by yourself."
Wow.
It's unheard of. It's unprecedented.
I'm not-
So what I'm saying to you is that, you know, it's easy, it's very convenient to say, well, maybe it's just conspiratorial nonsense, you know. But we know just from the history in terms of how the White House operates and the intelligence community operates, that there are a lot of things that are underhanded. Well, I'm sorry.
I mean, you're making some valid points. There are a lot of things that are underhanded.
So
but-
my whole point that if there is no legitimacy to these claims, then why not open an investigation as opposed to attempting to conceal it or to simply dismiss it?
Well, I personally think, like I said, it's something that is. So you're saying that you think the White House has something to do with it?
I think that, listen, I think when you carry out the assassination of a government official as high ranking as Ron Brown, it's not a decision that's arbitrarily made. I think a lot of important and very powerful people have to take some say-so in terms of that coming to fruition.
Right.
You see, I mean, it's not like some Joe Blow, you know, that the government doesn't like because they're antagonistic toward the government and you want to wipe them out.
I
That
don't-
decision could be made locally.
I think personally, and of course we're going to have to end this because we have other calls. I think personally that the thing with Ron Brown was terribly unfortunate. I mean, it was very unfortunate what happened to him, but I honestly will not. I think it's ludicrous and outlandish to think the White House or any cabinet members of the president had anything to do with it, even though some of the cabinet members didn't want to ride on the plane, whatever. Maybe it's hindsight, maybe it's a freak incident. I do not think that the White House or any of the
John Tower.
cabinet members had anything to do with that. But we do appreciate your call. Thank you very much. Any more calls?
John Tower was in a plane crash, and so was, unfortunately, in Virginia, Richard Obenshain, if you remember, about 20 years ago. And
Buddy Holly was in a plane crash.
but high-ranking
Jim Croce was in a plane crash.
but high-ranking politicians do get in plane crashes.
Yeah.
Jim Croce.
Yeah, Jim Croce, Buddy Holly, all these other composers.
Miller.
You know, everybody's. I mean, you know, it's
Patsy Cline.
Yeah, of course. You know, people get killed with a gun too, like John Lennon. I mean, it's a freak incident. Line, whatever. Talk to us.
Howdy.
Hey, George.
Hey, what's up?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, a couple quick comments. You said earlier that the right tended to be closed-minded and prejudiced, and whenever you actually caught them in a statement that they couldn't defend, they would just continue with their same rhetoric, or words to that effect. And just sitting here listening to you, first off, I like your show, but you've made two comments in the last few minutes, and here they are. Dan Quayle is stupid, and Bill Gore is brilliant. No bias on your part, George?
Let me just tell you, if a guy can't even spell potato, if he lives in a comedy world thinking that Murphy Brown is Satan, oh my God, and she's a mother that's raising a kid, and we need to have quote unquote family values. Oh my God, and she is going to go to hell because she has a child and she doesn't have a husband.
That's what you agree or disagree with, but do you think it's fair to say stupid and brilliant to these men because of what you think? I mean, all I'm trying to point out is a simple working definition of the word prejudice. Let's move on. The next thing I really, really want to ask you about, though, and I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm like your previous caller. I put aside all the legalities of the alleged, adultery. However, how does one rationalize this man standing up in front of the camera, clenching his fist, and saying, and I quote, "Now you listen to me. I did not have a sexual affair with that woman." Now, did he or did he not say that?
He said that, and he made the biggest mistake by saying that. He made a mistake. Some people think his political, his politics have gone down the commode. He's past his time or whatever. But he made a mistake. It was a judgment call he had to make. It was something that. But once again, we're taking it upon saying that this is a perjury issue when it's not a perjury issue, and this is the crust of that I've been preaching all along about Bill Clinton.
Look,
just hear me out here.
Okay.
Just hear me out, and then you can talk.
Sure.
This thing has gotten to be an enigma. Enigma. It's a cancerous wart, and it continuously goes on and goes on and goes on. They want to try their damnedest to put something. Okay, he had a relation with Monica Lewinsky. He gave her Starbucks coffee mugs and gifts and books and all that.
And that's
so what? But he did not say he had a sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky. So you got to understand that he did not perjure himself. Okay, hear me. And it's not to say, and he did not have sexual relations. He was telling the truth. Now, even if he did have sexual relations, we did not need to go into his private life. And you're going to say he perjured himself. Well, he did not. I mean, that should not even be an issue of perjury. I mean, this is politically motivated. Mm-hmm. And this is what it boils down to. So, you can't sit here and say that he perjured himself. Or you can't sit here and say that he said this and said that. I mean, because he did not say. He said he had an inappropriate affair. That's a big difference.
Well, okay, agree. And I'm one to say I don't even care about perjury. I never would have used that word.
Okay.
I never would. I don't care. It makes zero difference to me whether he did or didn't, honestly. However, he looked me in the face and lied to me straight away. And you too, if you happen to be watching that night. Okay. Straight away. Now you called a mistake.
Lie. You still say he lied. He said he did not have sexual relations with
Let me ask you
Monica
this,
Lewinsky.
then, George. Let me put it back on you, and I'll even listen. Promise. But let's see. Even if it were to come out now, and they could unequivocally prove that he did have a sexual affair, it still wouldn't bother you what he said, would it?
But see,
See?
I hear what you're saying, and you're making sense. You make a lot of sense. But what I'm saying is, it gets to that point, I don't care. This man doesn't care. We take it upon what the man has done for the country. Let's move on. Let's finish the bridge to the year 2000, like he said in his eloquent speech that he's made over and over again. Next call, please.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you very much.
Sacred.
Okay, thank you very much. Next call, please.
Hello?
Go ahead.
You got another one?
Next call, please.
All right, hold on.
Here we go.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here now. Yeah.
Go ahead.
You can hear me. I see. I just want to lay that last caller out. He acts like men don't lie about affairs. If the man did have an affair, if he did do something with the chick, what man is going to say? Unfortunately, don't say those things.
Exactly.
Some men. I did it.
Exactly.
The man wanted to keep it quiet.
Exactly.
So, have people call
We're
him-
humans. Hello, we're human beings.
He probably bragged to his friends, but he didn't want to be hauled up in front of a judge or in front of TV cameras and admit it.
I don't mean to divert from what we're talking about, but let's go to what Kenneth Starr has done. Kenneth Starr has perjured himself. Kenneth Starr has gone ahead and leaked out to the grand jury and talked about the grand jury and set up some stuff that talking about at events about the grand jury and overleaked them to the media. Okay, he went ahead on Susan McDougal. Hello, Susan McDougal. Hello, get the tongues out of it, and made a comment and tried to just eat her out. A new, and the judge told him to back off. Told him to back off at what he was doing because he was interrogating her and going to town on her. And I respect Susan McDougal.
He even said,
I respect her because she will not give him an ounce of anything, will not give him any kind of, will not say anything because she has speak to him up because she thinks he's like the guy is a jackass, and what he is. And he's a jackass. It's one thing to be a prosecutor and get up there and do your job, but he has motivations with, his butt buddy Linda Tripp to get up there and do whatever. And this whole thing, the triangle thing, if you will, with Linda Tripp and with him to wire her, to tape a conversation, and then I don't care. To me, and I know this, it's a felony to tape someone tape a conversation. That by itself is an issue. It's a felony to tape a conversation without the other person knowing about it.
Another point I'd like to make. People are fussing so much about he committed perjury. What they do with the guy with the O.J. Simpson case? Did they ever try the lying police officer for perjury? Did they acknowledge that he committed perjury? So why all of a sudden does it matter if Clinton said anything?
Yeah.
If how dare they not?
Yeah,
You mean, wait, you talking about Mark Furman? I don't, he
He
got
lied
in.
and said he never used the N word.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Now I remember. Ah, so we forget.
No, perjury is perjury. So what's the difference? Why aren't all of those same whoever people who are saying Clinton did this and he committed perjury, why aren't they after Mark Furman?
He did disgrace. He is, no matter what, Mark Furman is forever disgraced as a result
but
of that.
is he really? No, give me a break. That's why he's been on all the talk shows everywhere.
Really? Mark Furman's on talk
Yes,
shows?
because he wrote some book about.
Oh, he wrote a book. Yeah.
Well, I mean, as far,
But the point is just that if they're going to go down on some people, I shouldn't say that, but if they're going to complain about perjury with one person, they need to be equal.
We can talk about Ollie North, that horse's ass. Ollie North and what he says. Well, I believe what I did was true, and we didn't do this and we did that. You see, that was talked about, but the Ollie North thing and the Iran-Contra affair was not nearly enough as talked about as this. And what I've been saying is this man has been attacked since the day he ran for president, Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton has been attacked from the day he ran for president. And whatever, alleged affairs and accusations and whatnot, and whether it's true or not true, who cares? But the bottom line of what I've been saying, if anybody wants to dispute me or debate with me, thank you very much for your call, man. Appreciate it. But the bottom line is perjury. Perjury, perjury. Oh, he perjured himself. Some hillbilly redneck will think, oh, he perjured himself. He did this and did that. The issue upon sexual relations by itself should not even be a perjury issue because he did not embezzle, he did not rape the person, he did not steal money, he did not shoot somebody, he did not kill somebody, he did not commit a crime. Bottom line. So to say that he perjured himself and to even make that, this is the crux of what I'm talking about, to even say that he perjured himself on a sexual relations, we know about the calls. It is a joke by itself. It should not even be a freaking issue, and I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. I want to take it upon what the man and the merit from what he's done for this country. And that is what I have been saying.
One instance doesn't.
And so, and then once again, I've been saying like a broken record here. He did not perjure himself. If we want to go that way and say, well, that should be a perjury issue, he did not perjure himself because he said, I had an inappropriate affair, and he did not say sexual. He said inappropriate, and I did not say sexual. So you right-wing conservatives need to get the brain moving a little bit and understand what's going on, okay?
Don't believe everything. Don't believe everything Rush tells you.
Focus.
Anyway, let me tell you. Let me compare Clinton for a moment to Al Capone, one of the worst gangsters of all time. They couldn't get Al Capone on a lot of things, bootlegging and murder and all these things. So they actually spent like almost 5 years trying to get him on tax evasion. Well, they couldn't get Clinton, not Al Capone, as bad a guy as Al Capone, but they couldn't get him on Whitewater and on Jennifer Flowers and Paula Jones. So now they're getting him on this. So they keep jabbing and jabbing until he bleeds. It looks like they're making some headway now.
Okay, yeah, he did admit to Jennifer Flowers. That was 20 years ago. If we base it upon, everybody's sexual relations and whatnot, if a guy's a homo, a lesbian or whatever, or a woman's a lesbian, or you can't fight for the military because you're queer and gay, that person has every right to fight for the military. We can base it upon the fact that this and that and the other. I mean, the bottom line is enough is enough. Janet Reno needs to stop in, get in there, and say, hey, I am terminating this investigation. Line one.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, well, I just want to know specifically, you've brought this up again, like many times, what constitutes inappropriate relations?
Inappropriate relations.
You just tuned in, I guess.
Maybe you just did. Maybe.
No, I've been watching this. It's just you keep bringing it up, but you haven't really said what constitutes.
Okay. Maybe kissing, maybe fondling, maybe rubbing in the back, massaging, being close. Okay, whatever. That's not sex. That's maybe, if you want to call it...
Isn't sex until Mr. Nipple makes his first appearance.
Shut up. Listen. Okay.
But honestly, along as you brought this up, there's rumors
bottom
being
line
leaked,
is,
though.
okay, he gave her gifts. That's inappropriate, okay? And if he gave her that little chapeau, that little hat that she wore in that little film with him, or that little clip they keep showing him hugging her or whatever, yeah, he's admitted that. But that is not sexual relation. He took a liking to her. She considered him to be a father figure, probably a father she never had. She looked up to this man to be a mentor, and she liked high power, and she kind of had a little crush on the guy. And he kind of tried to distance himself from her, and then he got into the mix, probably maybe giving her this and giving her that, and just being friendly, and then maybe she seduced him. I don't know. But I mean,
There has been rumors being leaked, though. I was listening to a radio program about this earlier, that he was hitting her in the dumper.
He was doing well, look. Do you care if he was doing that? Honestly.
Yeah, I do if my president was hitting her in the dumper.
Well, let me tell you something. I don't care, okay?
When the show take a turn.
I don't care. Okay, I don't care. Of course, usually our show is on
We're actually, this is a really
I'm not political.
high road this
My
way.
show is not political, but this thing has incensed me so much. We've come on several times and do live shows. But yeah, thank you for your call. We do appreciate it. I mean, as far as, you know, hitting her in the dumper, only one could imagine what's being said out of this. You know, I don't care who he sleeps with, as long as it's not me. Okay? Okay? And I don't care, he doesn't care who I sleep with. I mean,
As long
don't
as
care.
it's not me
Because
either.
Especially
if it's not me.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am a heterosexual, baby. Hetero. Okay? And you see, but I might have had relations with women before. I might have dated 3 women before at the same time. But I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay? As you get older, you get wiser, you know. Marriage,
settle down.
You settle down. But see, marriage, you know, marriage, I probably will never get married.
Really?
I probably will never get married because I love women, plural. I can't think of one person or this person or whatever. I mean, I like to have kids, but I like to think of, you know, plural, to have women friends in plural. But we're getting off track here. But anyway.
Now we're talking about your private life.
Yeah, my private life, but that's beside the point. Okay, and of course we might get some calls on that. Line 1, please. Talk to us.
Yeah, Mega Dittos. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong show.
What's this now?
That's wishful thinking.
Just joking. Yeah, I don't understand how come, you know, a couple months ago everybody was saying if he just come out and admit the truth, whether he was or not, you know, and then now he does and everybody's still bashing him.
Well, I could have told you that. I believe that he should. I mean, as far as this is concerned, I actually think he shouldn't have done that. If it were me, I would have just let it blow over. I would have given my if I were Clinton, I would have given my testimony and then said, yeah. And then if someone asked me in a press conference or something, yeah,
if it was me,
that probably happened. If that's what I said.
If it was me, I would stick to. I would have said, even if I did it, and you might want to say I perjured myself. Oh my God, I perjured myself. I would come out and say I did not, and I would stick to my guns. Nobody needs to know. But you see, once again, he did not lie, because there's a difference between sexual and inappropriate.
Well, isn't it rumored that he did admit it, or did admit whatever he admitted to?
He admitted to.
Well, to inappropriate.
He admitted to inappropriate relations.
Why?
Not
I mean, aren't
sexual.
they saying that he did that to, you know, to cover up the whole bombing situation, to kind of mask that?
And then
so we
you
didn't
go
have
again. That was a brilliant thing. If he did or didn't, in these people in Afghanistan, these terrorists and whatnot. I mean, they need that was a brilliant presidential move that he made.
Sudan is a rough place. They have slaves. They still have slavery
Whether it
there.
had anything to do with it or not, it was a brilliant plan.
Yeah.
And I think, but you know, he's a better president, you know, as far as presidency goes. And if he did this, I don't really care. I kind of wish Bush would have had a little something under his, you know, a little.
Well, you see, Bush's claim to fame was, read my lips, read my lips. I don't eat broccoli. You know, I mean, whatever. Okay, a collapse in Japan on the breakfast table, and his head was like on the breakfast table.
Well, that was good.
Being served.
That was getting tough on Japan.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, how I mean, he threw up on the president of Japan. I mean, how tough can you get against another country?
But the bottom line is, I myself don't want to see him impeached. Do you want to see him impeached?
Yeah.
Why?
Okay.
What's that? Oh, do I want to see him impeached? No.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I don't care. You know, I'm kind of happy he's getting some. You know, either way, just because you know he's a real person. You know.
Exactly.
It clears his head.
Exactly. He's human.
And if his wife
he's
is
not
standing
Jesus.
by him,
Oh my God, he's not Jesus. He's human.
if his whole family's standing by him too, then you know why can't the rest of the country be patriotic and stand by the president.
I think, yeah, that's right.
And you want to know something? I mean, let me digress. Republican, I actually believe that Clinton was beatable in the last election. Because they didn't like him 4 years ago, they didn't like him these 4 years, and they could have picked a better guy to run against them, and they picked probably the most uncharismatic. Not that he's a bad guy, Dole, and not that he wasn't a good guy 20 years ago when he ran against as vice president. Yeah, Bob Dole at this point was not the right guy to run against Clinton, and Clinton won handily over the Republicans. A guy that the Republicans, and evidently according to the people, nobody liked anyway, Clinton. And here he wins a second term. What does that tell you?
He won a second term. I disagree because there was nobody out there that could.
Well, that's what I mean. Well, they could have picked somebody.
Well, the economy has been the best it's been in a long time, and I think that does reflect the president, whether some people like to admit it or not.
And people vote with their pocketbooks. Above all.
We do appreciate your call. We want to get at least 2 more calls in here, line, whatever. Talk to us.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you. Talk to us.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
How you doing?
I was just wondering why the guy on the left looks like Urkel and you're a fat ass. And
yeah. Well, thanks.
Well, let me tell you something. Okay. You say cut him off. Okay.
I think he was looking in the mirror.
Maybe
you're looking back at him.
Maybe you're looking yourself in the mirror, and if you had anything to say to me, okay, you can go ahead and take your face and dump it down the commode because, buddy, don't get personal with me. You don't even know who I am. Buddy, I could be your worst freaking nightmare. Line 2, talk to us.
I'm the white sheep of Urkel's family, actually.
Now, we've had one bad call tonight. We've
taken the high road.
And pumps come like that. Obviously, you're insecure with yourself and you got a little extra blubber in yourself.
Howdy.
Talk to us.
How are you?
What's up?
I'd like to respond to the caller who called just before the last caller. What an outrageous, slanderous comment to suggest that the President of the United States was having that kind of an affair with anybody. I believe he used the quotation, pumping her in the dumpers. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, whatever. If they want to joke, everybody's got their opinion. It's like a blank hole. So, whatever. He's entitled to his opinion.
That's just disgusting. I can't believe, first of all, they would put that on any kind of show where other people can listen to that.
It's a live show, unfortunately. And when you have a live show, we like people like you calling, but when you have a live show, people do call. You have to take that's the electricity of it.
And we try to pump. It's like this last pump scum that called up here and called me a fat ass. Yeah. Excuse me. The pump scum that called up here, wishes he was me. Okay, but we do appreciate your call. Yeah. Thank you very much. We want to get one more call. One more call. Talk to us. Talk to us. One more call.
You there?
I'm here. Talk to us.
Yeah, I was watching your show and someone made a statement that the economy was in great shape.
That's right. Probably me.
You tell me how it's in great shape.
You tell me how it isn't. Before you do, let me tell you this. Unemployment at its lowest. People out there can buy houses, taxes at their lowest. Social Security being there for the elderly. I can go on here. The economy being the best, money being high. I mean, people being able to spend money. No outrageous taxes out there. The economy has been the highest it's ever been, and employment is high and unemployment is low. So, rebuttal.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, the unemployment. Once an individual has taken all that he can from that system, after he is off of it, they do not count him, even though he's still unemployed. I mean, a lot of these things are false. Social Security, will it be there for those people that put in the majority of it?
Clinton has been behind that. Clinton has been behind making sure the elderly and the people, the baby boomers and the Generation X people, that Social Security will still be there. These Republicans have been anti that. Clinton has been for that.
The rich get richer.
Okay, thank you. We'll get one more call in. One more call.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you very much. One more call. Talk to us. One more call.
Oh, well, we have to wrap it up, I guess.
Is he there?
One more call.
I guess he's not there.
Okay, well, hey, it's been wonderful. Catch me. I'm not listed, but you can still catch me. I'm on the weekend. Can we do one more call? Phone's ringing.
1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. Most weekend nights.
Most weekend nights. Friday and Saturday. Thank you very much. God bless. Gorgeous George is popping. Woo! Your proverbial underwear. Woo!